Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Kristin Sullivan. I'm delighted to have this very beautiful woman back here joining me. Thank you so much, Kristin, for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me back. I always love chatting with you. I feel like I'm right next to you, and I've never even met you in person yet.
I know, it's crazy. I'm like sitting there going, you've got like this amazing event, which we're going to talk about. I'm like, how am I going to get over there? How can I get there? Because I so want to be there. But before we dive in, I just want to say thank you so much, because you were actually part of the very first co-author book that was brought to and curated by the Corporate Escapists and Inspired Life. And we're going to chat a lot about that today, because I really love your story. And, you know, we've been doing quite a lot of work together. So I want to dive into that. But I'm going to hand it over to you so you can introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll dive in deep with lots of questions and some juicy details with everyone.
I love it. I love it. Well, hello, everyone. I am pleased to be here. I represent the Bridal Retreat and Swivel group events. I'm also a big part of Christina's Just as Planned. I'm the podcast host. I have a retail line. And as Christina just mentioned, I have just been part of the Inspired Life book that has come out. Congratulations, Christina, on an amazing launch. That was super powerful with an amazing group of women. Anyone that has not purchased the book, get the book.
Yes.
It's really good.
It is. And it is so epic. Like, I must admit, like, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and you first came into the Corporate Escapists magazine. I think it was probably issue 1 or 2. I think you came in, and then we've stayed in contact and, you know, had a lot. And I have a love affair with weddings. So, and I know that you are like the wedding expert over in the States. And so when I said to you, I'm going to relaunch, I'm going to do something, and you're like, I want to be a part of it. So I thought, well, what can we do when we've launched the Just as Planned podcast, which you're the most beautiful host and have brought in the most amazing guests, which I'm so excited for it. So I'll pop the links below for everyone so you can go and listen to that with it. And then I reached out to you and said, look, I'm going to put this book together. Come on this crazy ride with me and let's see what happens. And like, your story just hits home with me. Like, we've both been through so much, like, personally, but I think it's that inner strength that just keeps coming out. And when you are in such alignment with what you're actually meant to do, it shines through. And I want to know, like, was there one particular moment, or has it just all been building up to sort of where you are right now?
Oh, I think it's such a series of events. You know, I say to everyone that every hurdle that we cross, every bump in the road teaches us a lesson that gets us over the next one. And it's amazing the strength that you find when you have to find it, and the gifts that come out of people that cross your paths, even though it might at the time not feel like one. But it really is. It's just a stepping stone, and we pave our way, you know, over all of those stepping stones. And so for me, I can't honestly say that there's one thing that was life-changing. There's so many things that have made me who I am today. And I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah. And have you found that, like, as we go through, and I just call them life events, because life events could be good, they're not so good, they're uncomfortable. And, you know, sometimes when we have to push ourselves just that little bit further, do you see that now as a learning lesson, or is it just something now that you can sort of start to process and then just walk through?
I definitely still have my days where I pick myself up off the floor, you know, and I think every entrepreneur does that. You know, we would love to have perfect days, but I can't tell anyone that it's, you know, rainbows and unicorns 24/7. It's not. But you find that inner strength. You draw on, you know, you've been through something in the past, and I think you can look back on it. So it gets a little bit easier to find where that center is, where that balance is. You know me, people watching, I want to share with you that, a big part of how I get there is my routines with journaling and meditation and taking time for myself, making sure that I am giving myself space to get through whatever it is that is needed, whether it's good or bad. We still have to process the good stuff too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, I discovered spirituality probably about 6 years ago. You're having one of my most favorite people in the world come to one of your events, and so the fabulous Gabby Bernstein is going to be at your events, which I don't normally say I'm jealous of somebody, but I'm super envious because like I would love to just be there and to meet her, because her book, The Judgment Detox, actually changed my life with it. And, has been like a person or a book that has had such a huge influence in like your journey?
Well, you and I have that in common because that is her. So Gabby Bernstein literally was one of those people that got me up off the floor, and her books are amazing. Her podcasts are amazing. I just watched another one on Saturday where she came out with a new book, and she never stops inspiring me. Like, she has been through so much. And I think for me, she was on my vision board. I'm looking at my vision board across the room right now. She was on it. And I was just determined that I wanted to share. So many people don't know about her. And when I talk to people and they don't know about her, I'm like, how can I share this even more? And so my whole event, which I'm still manifesting you there in Nashville with me in April, is to share that with women, share that with women that have in particular come out of a really hard 2.5 years in the industry, that we're all in the situation of the last 2.5 years. Wedding industry and event industry were really hit hard. And anything I can do to try to lift somebody up. I was fortunate. I went at it with building a retail line, writing these books. I had to do something different rather than sit there. I can't sit still. It's crazy. I even sit in my seat and try not to like bounce when I'm doing an interview. But I want to share her, and she's amazing. And so if you can't make it to Nashville in April, all of you that are watching, you should follow Gabby. She will give you inspiration when you need it the most. And so she is definitely someone for me that changed my life.
Yeah, no, look, honestly, for me too. So if I cannot get there, I am going to be sending you the biggest virtual hug. I don't know if you can hug still with all the COVID stuff, but it's just like, you're just going to be sending my love that way. So with it. And, I think that's one of the things that has really resonated, that, I think that the more we start sharing our own personal stories, people actually start realizing that, okay, well, somebody else has been through maybe not the same thing, but, something similar. And then there is that hope and that with it. And I think that's what really, has drawn me to you, because we have had very similar sort of, circumstances happen, those life events, but it's that grit, determination and that passion to help somebody else, but to also think outside the box, to go, well, how can I pivot instead of being stuck? And a lot of people feel stuck and, not able to move outside, because when you move outside that box, you're really stepping outside your comfort zone, and it is not easy at all. Like, was there sort of something or a quote or something that sort of made you realize that you just can't stay inside that box anymore?
So fear, is the biggest thing, I think, for people to step out of their comfort zone, because it's an unknown, right? And we're all like, a lot of people, and myself included, are afraid of the unknown. But there's such a feeling of accomplishment when you cross that line, and it is scary. You have that pit in your stomach, but that it's the right thing to do, because you're being called to do something bigger. You're being called to help other people. And I've built my entire career on helping other people. I've never been someone that's been in the forefront. That was always scary to me. It really still is. I'm not people laugh and be like, you talk on Zoom all the time and you're on the internet, but I'm like, it still makes me uncomfortable. I was always a behind the scenes person. So I had to overcome that fear. And the only way to do that is to just do it. And so there is a quote by her, and it's actually one that I asked to use in our promotions when it, my goodness, I hope I can remember it. It's don't dance around who you want to be, like dive deep in. Like, you know, and it's like you're looking at that person you want to be on the outside. It's like, just go in there and be that person.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things where, you know, like I was brought up that you go to school, you either go to university, you get a good job, then you get married, have kids, build the house, like, you know, like that's what life is meant to be. And then when you retire, that's when you're meant to have fun. And when everything came crumbling down, I had to reassess that. And it's been a hard situation because everybody around is very, let's just say the word traditional. But when you step outside of that, I think we forget how much we actually inspire other people as well. And, you know, it's not about numbers. It's not about, you know, people singing your praises. It's just that you're shining that light for so many other people still yet to come through.
If anything, if you can help one person through something just by sharing your story, which is why I love the Inspired Life so much, because it's going to change people's lives. And we don't know who's going to read that book, and we may never know who's going to read that book and what it's going to shift in their life. And they might not even know it reading it tomorrow, what will happen in a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. So it's a gift that we were meant to share. It's why we all came together. And I really believe in that. I believe in the universe. I believe in that people are aligned. I believe I met you for a reason. We've done a lot together, and I know we have plans to do more. And I just think it's exciting. I think it's exciting. I will say that one thing that this pandemic did, as horrible as it is to connect people all over the world and feel like you now have family and friends that are everywhere that you, again, have just never met in person.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's allowed a lot of people to, you know, feel the connection, but also too for entrepreneurs or, you know, people to start again thinking outside the box. But also too, I feel is that more and more people are starting to share their story, you know, being so brave and courageous. And I must admit, like all the women in this book, it still astounds me that, you know, you think that you're the only one going through something, but when you read other people's chapters, you go, oh my God, like, oh my goodness, like they've gone through so much and look where they're at. I feel like I get a coaching session every time I do an interview, every time I read someone's chapter. I'm like, oh, this is like the best job ever, like pinch me moment with it. And I guess that must be the same for you too, because working with brides and, you know, what you do also with the retreats and, you know, helping them, you know, you hear the stories, you hear what is, you know, happening in their life, but also that passion comes through as to, you know, their love story and what they want to do as well.
It's true. It's such an amazing feeling to be part of someone's love story, to be part of such an important time in their lives. And I was gifted with that for so many years. And then when I took a step back to write my own book and going through notes and going through thank you cards and things from clients, I realized that there was just this giant missing link. And that link was that people they couldn't believe that it was going to be okay until it actually happened. And again, it comes back to fear. It comes back to they've never done this. They're doing something that, you know, is the unknown, and they couldn't trust the process. And so for me, I'm like, how can I fix that? Because I'm a fixer. Like if people come to me to solve problems. And so creating the bridal retreat was that I wanted them to enjoy the entire journey. I didn't want people to wake up and have missed a year of their lives, an important time in their lives, and have been stressed out, when I know that there are solutions that you don't have to be stressed out. And we all know that stress is a killer, right? So we're trying to work full time. We're trying to be, in a relationship, be in a healthy family, have a pet, be a friend. That's like 10 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to learn how to balance everything. And the retreat, yes, it gears you up and lets you do that for your wedding, but it's just something you can carry out now through all of your relationships.
Yeah. And I think that's what I love. Like it's, it's advice that you give, in that particular moment, but it's lifelong advice that you can use in all different situations. And I think sometimes it's not until we go through something new that we sort of go, oh my God, I've got that advice, or I've got that, pocket of goodness that I can sort of draw onto, to use and to be able to help carry me through.
And we all love to have a beautiful moment, right? Like when things are good, they're amazing. And when things are bad, it's like a domino effect. And so the other thing that happens during weddings is that we come into these new relationships, not just with the person that we're marrying, our partner, our fiance. We come into these new relationships with family members and colleagues and other friends. And if you start out on the wrong foot, that's again something that carries through the rest of your life. And so that is important to me, is for people to nurture those relationships as much as just the two of you. It's still so important to have a healthy relationship with everyone in your circle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And having that healthy relationship with self too. I mean,
Yes.
it's so important. I think these big moments, like planning a wedding, it actually brings out so much of yourself in that moment, that you have to draw on that strength, but also, like you said, to integrate everybody else as well.
You are the core. It starts with you, and this, for me, it's important that people come to these retreats by themselves to really focus and to find their strength and their balance. Because if you're out of whack, everything around you is going to be out of whack.
Yeah.
And people say to me, oh, it's a healthy bachelorette party. And I'm like, well, it is and it isn't, because I don't want you to come with, a tribe of people. I want you to come and be your best self and leave your best self. And then you'll be able to share so much more with people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And fully enjoy the moment too. I think that's one of the biggest things that, I guess, like when people have asked me, well, what's the best advice you can give a bride? I'm like, enjoy your day. Like, you've done what you can to plan, and something doesn't go right. That's nothing else that you can do. It's not on you, but actually take that moment to actually enjoy it, because the day goes by so quickly that we and it's like every single moment, like having a kid and or puppies and all that sort of stuff, like everything goes through so quickly. And if you can't just take that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even half an hour just to enjoy the moment, and soak it all in.
Yeah, enjoy the entire journey.
Yeah.
And you're going to feel so much better when you realize that you have enjoyed every moment, and look back on it, and not look back to feel like you were stressed out or you wish you would have done things different. I don't like to look back. And so I don't want anyone else to look back. I want everyone to just feel positive, feel strong, feel good about themselves. And I think that, again, that just carries on in every aspect of your life. If you have a bridezilla, then that bridezilla leaves a wedding meeting and goes back to work, and then everyone at work is affected by the bridezilla, and then that bridezilla goes home. Or groomzilla. I don't like to target out people, but it's again a domino effect. We want to make sure that we're just trying to nurture healthy relationships all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask you, what is next for you? Because I know you're a very busy lady.
Well, I have the retreat coming up in April. That's my focus right now. Just going through the book launch with all of you. And I'm launching a few more items in the retreat line and the retail line. I've got, you'll be the first to know, I've got this really special candle line and oils and meditation kits coming out, which will be part of all of the retreats. I have excited about that because I have all of these items that I want people to have to use when they're journaling and they're meditating. So, you know, I've already created my journals and I've already created my affirmation card decks. And so now it makes the most sense to continue and do the candles and the oils.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm not quite sure after that, what is next? I always would like to say that I just would like to just continue with the retreats for a few years before I take on anything else. And then, you know what they say, when you make a plan, what happens? So I'm just dancing around getting through April at the moment. So I am very excited about it.
Yeah. I'm super excited. And I know that I'm going to be sharing lots about it because I simply do adore you. I love what you do, your energy, and I love working with you. So I just want to say thank you so much for being part of the book and, you know, just being that brave and courageous to share your story to help inspire so many other people to live that inspired life. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you for thinking of me and including me. And the process was so easy with you. And I truly appreciate that you were there every step of the way. And I know that when we do things in the future, and we will, it's just nice. It's nice to be able to rely on people. And I thank you for that.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. So I'm going to pop all the details where you'll be able to reach out to Kristin, check out her April event. I'm going to put the links where you can go ahead and grab a copy of her book as well. So, you know, it's just a beautiful story. So I can't thank you enough for doing that. You'll be able to check her out onto the Justice Plan podcast as well. So lots of links going below. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments, let us know. And most of all, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well so you can keep in touch with all of the other episodes that we've got. Thank you so much, beautiful. And I just want to ask you, is there one little thought that you want to leave for somebody who wants to live an inspired life?
Absolutely. Get out of your own way. I've always said it. You know, you've really just look in the mirror and step aside, because there's something, if there's something burning inside you, there's a reason. It's a gift that's meant to be shared. And so just really try to put that angel on your shoulder, talk to it, and make it happen, because it's just so rewarding when you finally get it out. It's like literally the feeling that you'll wish you did it sooner. And so if I can encourage anyone to do anything, it's get out of your own way.
Yeah, perfectly said. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate your time. And like I said, for everybody who is watching, thank you for being here today, and make sure you reach out to Kristin because she is simply an amazing soul. So thank you so much, beautiful.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. And thank you for watching this episode, and make sure that you live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light.